It seems like every church nowadays uses a drum cage. You've probably heard all the reasons why you should use one too.
Isolating your acoustic drum set can be one of the best ways to improve the mix of your worship
About
band.
20 to 25 dB of sound reduction.
Its overall purpose is just to give us more control.
However, have you ever considered, no gig actually uses them. I've been to loads of gigs and I've never seen a drum cage being used live. But you say, well, the gig is different to the church. You're not playing that loud at church. And you're not in a massive stadium, you're in a church building. So you need a drum cage at church. But think about it, what about the jazz club? It's a small room, and still, there's no drum cage. When I lived in London, I used to love going to Oliver's Jazz Bar in Greenwich. Here's a video, and it's an acoustic kit that's playing, but there's no drum cage. But you say, well, that's jazz, that's different. They have a different goal to corporate worship. We're trying to encourage participation. So, to encourage participation, they slap a screen around the drums? As if turning the drums down is the key to getting people to sing. That's what's happening. They just want to turn down the drums when they put the drum cage up. They call it controlling the sound or controlling the volume. But here's the thing. The drums are a loud instrument and a key instrument. They need to be heard. Think about it. What do you actually need to sing along at church? I think you need 3 things to sing. Essentially, the words, the melody, and the tempo. What words are you singing? What tune are you singing them to? And what speed are you singing them at? The vocalists give the words, and the vocalists give the tune. But what gives the tempo? Well, the vocals do when they're singing, but not in the gaps in between. Any rhythm instrument can give the tempo, but surely it's primarily the drums. So let's hear the drums, not turn them down. But we can go even further than that. You don't really need the melody. Let me show you. What happens when we sing Happy Birthday in different keys? So each person is singing the same tune, but in a different key. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. To me, that sounds like any normal birthday party. But what if each person sings in the same key, but at different tempos this time? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. It sounds awful. You couldn't sing along to that. I think it's easier to sing together when you're in different keys rather than different tempos. So tempo is imperative. But here we are turning the drums down by putting a drum cage up. And here's another thing about drum cages. They're so big. We're not all at megachurches or in warehouses. Some spaces need to be multi-purpose. I used to go to a church where the drums were at the side of the building for the morning service, and then the drums were moved to the centre for the evening service. I'm not lugging around a drum cage every single time. Nobody's putting that thing up twice a week. And drum cages are so expensive. And you've got to consider not just the cage itself, but you've also got to buy mics. There's so many mics for all those drums and cymbals. And then if you're using a drum cage, you're going to need in-ear monitors, so you can hear outside of the cage. And in-ear monitors are a big investment, both of money and of skill. That takes a whole new skill to play with in-ears in a drum cage. But maybe your church has loads of money and loads of space. Here's my biggest complaint about drum cages. In my experience, it becomes much harder to play together as a band and communicate when you're using a drum cage. When you're in a drum cage, it can be tempting just to end up in your own world. In a drum cage, it can be hard to even see the rest of the band, let alone hear them. Playing music together consists of listening and communicating with each other. A drum cage can really hinder that communication between band members. Not only that, but a drum cage can mean disconnect from the rest of your church. These are the people we are leading in song and worshipping God with. Psalm 34 says, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together." Or Psalm 35, "I will thank you in the great congregation. In the mighty throng, I will praise you." When we sing together, we're singing to each other to build each other up. Think of Colossians 3 and Ephesians 5. But you're stuck in a box, and no amount of ambient mic will make that right, in my humble opinion. So maybe it's time we ditch the drum cage. And the simple fact is, many churches have moved away from them. Many churches have started using drum baffles instead. And electric drum kits are not the answer. Do not get me started on electric drum kits. Playing without a drum cage might mean you have to change your playing style. Watch this video next if you want to learn a simple trick for playing without a drum cage at your church. And I've got a whole playlist of other videos which help drummers to play well at church. So maybe drum cages aren't all they're cut out to be. But what did I miss in this video? What did I get wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching.